Me, 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 me.
Who do you love most? Me. My name is Bradley Jones.
I'm Andrew Moldenhauer.
And I'm Andy Hubert.
And this is not a movie review podcast, but a podcast where we try to recall the events of a film that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. This is what we remember about Little Rascals.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember.
And Andy remembers the most
I'm
about Little
so
Rascals.
excited about doing this
He's been-
freaking movie.
The second before we even had the podcast,
I own this movie.
you wanted to talk about Little Rascals.
Yeah, that's true. I owned this movie on VHS and I saw it numerous times. I don't remember the last time I saw it. Maybe 5 years
See,
ago.
I thought you'd be
saw
more
the
raving
VHS
about
at
doing
some
like
point.
Apple Dumpling Gang or something
No.
before this movie.
Forget that movie.
Let me just shoot out the very little knowledge that I have about this film. Alfalfa is a fairly main character, right?
Yes.
It's almost his story. In a way.
Among a couple other characters, he's one of like the top.
Yeah, I feel like he's got the A storyline.
See, I definitely always took Little Rascals to be like the Alfalfa story. It just happened to be. But again, I have not seen this movie in a long time. That could just be my perception because he has the most memorable moments.
So it's him, and then there's the guy that kind of controls the He-Man Woman Haters Club. And I don't remember his name exactly.
Sparky. I just made that up. I just made that up. That's not right. That's not
It's
right.
gonna be right. Write it down.
Listen, I think it's
gonna
Sparky.
be right.
I think it's Sparky.
I just made that up just now. I don't have any sort of inkling that that's the correct answer.
Brad, you've seen this movie. You know it's
I
Sparky.
know Buckwheat and I know Alfalfa, and that's it. And that's just from Saturday Night Live sketches.
I
Sure.
thought that was just going to be from your experience in agriculture.
I was gonna say I think it's.
Are they all named after agriculture? Is there a...
I thought it was
whole grain?
cabbage?
Is there?
I thought it was Spike, but
Could be a spike.
but
That
I
sounds
don't
plausible.
know. Anyway, so Alfalfa and him basically like started this club.
The He-Man Woman Haters.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the beginning of the movie is the club getting together for their weekly meeting, and they're doing roll call. And Alfalfa is not there.
Because he likes a lady.
And that's
Yeah.
not
And
allowed.
he serenades her on a boat.
He's a walking contradiction.
That's like their Third Amendment is no ladies.
And no one talks about no ladies.
So I think what happens is he's on a date with Darla, and they're on a
Darla.
they're on a boat. They're
Yeah.
on a little
And
rowboat.
she's annoying, right? She's like... Or is she like a...
I mean, she's
I'm trying
like
to remember.
playing like
She's
a
all high
20-year-old, like, but she's actually like 5.
Is she like a Lucy from Peanuts? Is she...
No,
like-
she's just supposed to be just like your pretty lady.
Oh,
who-
okay. For
Yeah.
some reason I thought she had like... She was more aggressive.
Maybe
like,
you were just
going
really
after
taken in by
Alfalfa.
the He-Man Woman Haters Club, so that was your perception. You were like, she's a girl!
We need to get rid of her!
Yeah. Well, but that's what happens with this club. Alfalfa's not there, so they decide to go out and find him. And they find him in the sailboat, or whatever it is, little
It's a rowboat.
rowboat. And
It's supposed to be like a Venice boat like tour kind of.
yeah, and they
Gondola kind of thing.
they
Yeah,
listen
like
into his
gondola.
conversation with Darla, and it's all like lovey-dovey, and they're getting really disgusted with
Oh,
this.
man.
But they spoil it somehow. I don't
They
really
put a frog in the
remember.
boat or sabotage it somehow.
Yeah, they sabotage it somehow. I don't know if it's a frog or not, but they definitely sabotage it. And it doesn't go well.
And how many times does Alfalfa's hair point up on its own?
Do you want me to just come up with a
Is
number?
it like 6 times that you just like boing?
I would say it's probably
Boing.
like 4 times.
4 times it gets boinged.
5 times,
Ooh,
maybe?
it's getting boinged over here.
I'll just go with a low 2 boing. I'm 2 boinging it.
Yeah, so I think what happens after that is, oh my god,
Isn't the whole plot of the movie about a soap rocks derby?
So
Isn't that
that's
the whole
like,
idea?
No, that's the tail end. The tail end of the movie is like the last half of it is about the soapbox derby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to kind of jump into it, Alfalfa and Sparky,
That's what we've made up.
We're going with that.
they're not getting along because Alfalfa's not really being a part of the club anymore. He's not participating as much. He's contradicting their whole point. And Sparky and them used to be like really good friends, and so now they're
bros, real.
Now it's hoes before bros in this Little Rascal world, screwing up everything.
And so what happens is Alfalfa's saying that he's not really willing to change because he likes Darla a lot, and so Alfalfa goes on another date with her, but he brings her to the club because Darla says she wants to go to this club. She wants to, like, see what's inside. And he's like, I don't know if I should do that. I think that's against the rules.
Women, am I right? Come on, guys. Oh.
So again...
She wants to be a rascal. She wants to be a little rascal.
Yeah, she thinks she's
Is there, like, an initiation that a member has to go through, maybe in the movie? Like, there's, like, a new kid in town or anything like that?
No, there's nothing like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in this club, though.
There are. I remember a lot of characters. Yeah.
Is it in a tree or is it just like on the ground?
No, it's just on the ground, but it's made out of like a ton of different pieces of wood. Like none of it really goes together. You can kind of see through it at points. But basically, like Alfalfa brings Darla back to this club.
Does it get destroyed? Does the clubhouse get destroyed?
It does, but it does because they're trying to sabotage his date again. So they have. Lunch prepared. They're going to have, like, sandwiches. And so the Sparky... that doesn't even sound right.
I just made it up. You backed me up on it so quick, though.
It's it's like when we called the Rookie of the Year kid, what was it, Daniel the whole time?
Daniel the whole film.
So, they put kitty litter on the sandwiches.
Ew.
Yeah.
Is it used
Gross.
kitty litter?
I don't think it's used.
Okay.
But they totally eat it.
Well, I mean, how many gross things did you eat as a kid?
That's got to dry out your stomach,
That's
too.
what I would think. You'd be real thirsty. You need to hit some chocolate milk after that.
I'm guessing it is not edible.
No, they kind of crunch on it for a little bit, but I think they do have a drink of something right after.
I bet one of them likes it, maybe. Like, I don't see what's the problem.
I feel like that's a good comedy moment. Yeah, like, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I think that is literally what Darla says. Like, ooh,
trying
it's
to hide
okay.
the fact that it's bad.
Yeah.
But then what happens is good old Sparky shows up to the club with a bunch of other people, and they knock on the door saying like, "Let me in." But it was like a candlelight or like lunch.
Oh, like a romantic
candlelight lunch. I like that.
In a wooden clubhouse.
That doesn't seem safe.
Yes, and their table is like an ironing board.
Oh boy.
And so he throws all that back up into that area, and that candle literally burns the entire place down. Catches fire.
It wasn't up to code.
Yeah. Well, Alfalfa didn't understand that fire is bad when, everything's made out of wood.
So what else is going on if the story's just not about Alfalfa? Does Buckwheat have like a main thing he's doing?
So the overall story is actually about trying to rebuild the clubhouse.
Oh, okay. So this is like early in the film that all this takes place.
Yeah, it's relatively early.
Yeah, I remember the film being about trying to get that back together and trying to repair Alfalfa's relationship with the club.
I just remember that soapbox derby race. That's all I really recall.
So the general structure of the movie is their clubhouse catches fire. Then they spend a sequence of events trying to figure out how to either rebuild it or get money to rebuild it. And they eventually fall upon this idea of the soapbox derby, and there being
win like a prize at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot of events that happen before that build up to that moment.
Do we see their parents or their home life at all, or is it just like all these kids are kind of like orphans of the street?
No,
street urchins.
Both Sparky and Alfalfa, you do see their dads at one point. You get this kind of sequence where after the clubhouse burned down, they both go to each other's houses to apologize, but they're not there because they both went to each other's houses.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
And you get like Alfalfa's not here and like Sparky's not here, and then they go back and they're still like really upset with each other. But I think it's like a cool like split screen moment in the movie.
Very Brian De Palma.
Yeah. So so basically, these kids try to fill adult roles many points in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like when the clubhouse is on fire, they all run to the fire department and take the hose. They take the hose from the firefighters and run it all the way back to their club and turn it on. And I think it's not... I don't know if it's Buckwheat, but there's another character who's like bald and he wears like a magician's hat. He gets on this hose and he's riding it up in the air.
Oh man,
the hose is too powerful.
I'm excited to watch
little
this
kid.
movie.
I mean, there are a lot of really funny moments.
Do they have a dog? Am I making that up? They have like
There is a dog.
There is a dog.
Yes.
It's like a pit bull. Or
I feel like it's got that really...
I remember seeing it on the cover. Doesn't it have like a
nose.
circle over its eyeball?
it does, yeah. It's like
It's
a
like
brown
a target dog is what it... Or,
Yeah, it's a white dog with like a brown spot over one of the eyes.
Yeah, I never really watched the original Little Rascals at all, but
Neither did I.
nope.
Really.
I'm wondering if any of the storylines carried over into the film at all.
Yeah, I don't know, but obviously, like the characters did. So, what happens after the place catches fire? They do a couple different things. Number one, they try to get a loan.
Like at a bank?
They try to get a loan from the bank.
Nice.
For the clubhouse, they go up there
Yeah.
and say...
So what they do is...
Oh yeah, they stack like three of them on top of
Yes.
each other.
Oh, yeah.
And
and
an
they wear
overcoat.
beards.
Yes.
And wear a beard.
There's a lot of cameos in this movie, too.
Okay.
So, in the bank, who do you...
Steve Martin? I don't know. Seemed like as good a guess as any.
It's Mel Brooks.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Mel Brooks plays the bank manager.
Okay.
And he knows, like, right from the beginning that these are little kids.
What? You sure?
So then he has a plan to launder the money through the children. That's
A blank check situation.
so there's another question I had. Is there a villain? Is there like an evil guy trying to get something from these little kids in any way?
There is. So there's another kid who's a rich kid.
Oh,
Richie
I hate
Rich.
him already.
He looks exactly like Macaulay Culkin, but he's not. So he comes in a little bit later.
He's a Macaulay clone-kin?
Yes.
Sorry.
A Macaulay clone kid.
A Macaulay clone-kin is the evil rich guy who lives down the street.
Do you know who his dad is? Another cameo.
Oh, boy.
The rich kid's dad?
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's like a singer
This is someone very relevant right now.
in this day and age.
Trump.
Is Donald Trump?
It is Donald Trump.
I
Donald
thought
Trump is
Home
his
Alone
dad.
wasn't his only movie?
No.
Home Alone 2, by the way.
Well, yeah, Home Alone 2.
Yeah. So
All right. That makes sense,
But
I guess.
that comes like a little bit later even. So they're still working on trying to figure out how to
Rebuild this place.
Yeah, they go to like a Home Depot and try to buy lumber.
price it out.
Yeah.
Try to figure out.
Yeah,
what
and
to
they
do.
pool all their money and they have like 80 cents together, so the
Yeah.
guy gives them like a wedge of like
What a heartless
There you go.
employee.
yeah.
Where did they get all the stuff in the first place? Just scavenging. I mean, why
Yeah.
don't we
Yeah,
just do
you
that
can-
again?
You can tell that
Well,
it's
they used
pretty
it
much
all up the
scavenged.
first time they built the clubhouse.
That's all the stuff to scavenge
That
in the
probably
entire
took.
city
That probably
is?
took like 20 years to scavenge all that wood together. That clubhouse was built over generations.
So here's what they do. They got to fundraise. So they go to a local circus.
Oh man, I don't remember any of this.
Oh, yeah. And nothing is,
They go to a local
nothing is really
circus
getting jogged here.
and take over an empty tent.
Why is there?
And-
Put on their own show?
They put on their own show, and I don't remember the name of the show, but they're like, step right up, the man eating chicken. It's just... it's literally a kid with a beard again,
That's all they have.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be a chicken.
eating KFC chicken. And that's all he's doing.
Oh, wow. That's a good
Play on
joke.
words. That's pretty good. Actually.
That's
I
really-
like that a lot.
That's clever.
Barnum would be proud.
So, yeah, and so, like, you have this whole carnival sequence, circus sequence, and they raise all this money. They get people to, like, go into this tent, but, like, I don't know, they're kind of, like, manipulating people.
Yes.
And so, one of the adults that's running the program ends up taking that money. She's like, you guys shouldn't have done this. And that soapbox derby thing is coming up. So Sparky is like, hey, why don't we put this money towards the soapbox race, and whoever gets first place gets this prize. And so that's kind of like the stakes. They're going to use that money to rebuild the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Now, there's the rich kid, but there are two other villains in the story as well.
Yeah, just some punk kids.
Yeah. Bud
Pulling the other people.
and I think Roy? Bud and Roy?
It sounds like villainous characters.
Yeah, I don't trust them, so I
So,
love it.
the soapbox race is coming up, and they have their own, like, Mach
Evil-
5.
Yeah, it's essentially the grease car, right? With the it has knives for like on the wheels. It's like
Well,
a dangerous car.
Yes, that does happen when the race starts.
Right.
Yeah.
But what happens is the club, they know they must participate in this race all the time, but they have their own car. It's like the Mach 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
These two punks steal their car.
Oh, those jerks!
Jerks. What the heck,
What?
man?
But it's their car.
That's not
Doesn't
right.
anyone notice and
not right.
Well,
say anything?
No, I don't know. I don't remember how that plays out exactly, but they definitely.
So they
lift
had
the
a kid
car.
that was a fireman. Do they have one that's a police guy that like begins the investigation of the stolen car?
No, they don't police very well.
Missed opportunity.
There's not a YMCA version of each Little Rascal in the film.
That would be a good thing to do, but it didn't happen.
terrible.
So they're at this point where they have to rebuild, or they have to basically build from scratch a soapbox car.
Yeah.
And as that's like about to happen, I think Alfalfa and Sparky end up kind of like reconciling and coming back together to work on this.
Coming together for the greater cause. So
Yeah.
putting it to
Yeah.
the bullies.
Because Alfalfa's admitting what he did was wrong. Like he's like saying like, I burned the place down. Like it's my fault. You know, I want to help you guys out.
Now, did they come together in this moment because like Alfalfa? They need Alfalfa because he's good at some sort of aspect of building the car, or just out of friendship?
It's out of friendship.
Okay.
How good is this montage of the car being built? Because I'm sure it's fun, right? It's got to be a montage.
It's real fun. They're like lifting things,
gathering materials.
Yeah,
putting
they're
things
like
together.
garbage picking. There's one scene where, and I don't understand
They're-
this, but they go into like someone's like either a laundromat or they go into like some. Anyway, they put so much soap in this machine that it just like shoots soap everywhere. I have no idea why this happened.
Because it's a soapbox derby.
I know. I have no idea why this happens, but
Is there a scene of like them using like one of those two-person saws? Am I making that up? Like during like the building montage, getting materials together. 'Cause
I
that'd
like
be
it.
funny.
I like it. I'm gonna say yeah.
I'll go with that.
You're gonna say that-
Write it
that-
down.
that
Write it
happens?
down.
So
A crosscut saw.
what happens? And, oh man, I'm like really stuck on the sequences of when these things happen. Lay
Yeah,
out.
we'll have to just sort it out.
Yeah.
just get them out there. Just spit them.
Okay.
Spit them on the wall.
So after the fire incident, Darla and Alfalfa pretty much break up.
Oh.
no, that's too bad.
man.
Yeah.
But man, oh.
So Alfalfa's heartbroken.
I'm a little
Clearly.
heartbroken. I bet his hair goes down. It's up in the scene, and then
yeah.
he says, "We're
I can
breaking up,"
imagine.
and his hair goes down. He loses his sprout.
Yeah, like he doesn't defend her or something like that to the other guys, and she gets really angry about that. So it's she has a reason.
Well, Alfalfa doesn't want to look weak in front of his friends. He doesn't want to look like a wiener.
Seriously.
So he's got to man up and be like, "I don't like you," even though I really like you.
Yeah.
You're getting it, Brad.
Yeah, I know how movies work.
Did you say boobies?
I know how movies work.
Movies were.
Run the tape back. I did not say that. This is the one occasion where I've said a word and it's the correct one.
So at the carnival, you get this point where the rich kid is
Ollie McCall
wooing.
clone.
Yes,
Oh.
he is totally wooing Darla,
Oh,
Okay,
that
he's all
jerk.
up on
Because he's got
Alfalfa's
money
girl.
now.
Yeah.
So he's impressing her.
and he's like got hair gel and all that stuff. So he sings a song in this talent show. I think it's like that. L is for the way you look at
write
me.
that down. We'll keep that one.
Tom Jones, or is that who sings that?
I don't know. Macaulay Rich
Clone
Kid.
Kid. Yeah.
Macaulay Clone Kid.
And so Alfalfa goes up there and he does his own song because he wants to woo her as well.
Does he play an instrument?
No, he also sings.
I thought he had like a little banjo or something.
I don't think so. I think he just sings.
Okay.
No, he just gets up there and does Uptown Funk.
Uptown.
And he crushes it.
Crushes it. Way better than Bruno Mars.
No, he sings some song that I don't really know, but it's like, all I need is the air that I breathe just to love you. And he sings it like that well.
Sounds good.
God, I can't wait to watch this.
Does he
now.
win? Who wins the talent show?
Well, he definitely doesn't win because Sparky once again sabotages him.
Oh, Sparky.
And pours
Grape juice.
No, he pours bubbles into the water, and so Alfalfa starts singing, and all these bubbles start coming out of his mouth.
Oh yeah, he's like burping. Right?
He's like burping bubbles,
I remember that.
and everybody does like a face palm or a
Captain Kirk palm.
Yeah.
See, he needs to know how to pivot. Like, a company can pivot to a new product. He should have just pivoted to burping out the alphabet. That always wins the talent show.
Mm-hmm. Singing that bathtub song, Rub-a-dub-dub.
Yeah.
That'd have been good.
So definitely doesn't help him. Darla is like not on his side anymore. She thinks that he's making a fool of himself.
And she can't be seen with that.
And now I think we get to the soapbox derby.
Oh, soapbox. I'm so good.
So is this like a Romeo and Juliet send up in a way, or what would you equate this?
I mean, are you saying that
storyline
she's from
to?
a family that shouldn't consort with...
Right, but then she
With
ends up
Alfalfa?
going
I mean,
with the
it's
other
like
guy?
it's loosely Romeo and Juliet in a way.
I mean, it's
Are they
probably-
star-crossed lovers?
I'd say it's about as good as Shakespeare prose, but in a modern
I think
way.
if more Shakespeare ended with soapbox derbies, we'd have more butts in theater seats.
It's
Yeah,
probably
that-
true.
Just put that out there.
That would be perfect.
More butts in soapbox cars, that's for sure.
I would love to be. I'd want to be in a soapbox derby so bad as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'd want to do it as an adult. I would love to have one.
When the freaking Disney Channel film with Frankie Muniz came out, where he's like the handicapped kid that soapbox races, I was like, where was this when I was a kid? I wanted to do that.
Is that My Dog Skip? Or is that
No,
another
that's a
movie altogether?
That's a movie where a dog drives a car.
Yeah, and he punches the dog. There's a scene in that movie. I'll have to show it to you. But if you look up My Dog Skip, Dog Punch.
I think the soapbox one's like
find
literally called like Eddie or something like that, where it's like because it's based on the true story or whatever.
More soapbox derby races in movies.
Not enough soapbox derby movies.
And this soapbox derby race is awesome in this movie.
I remember
it's
it being
really
like
fun.
almost like a Ben-Hur style spectacle of this race.
It is pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it just going to be one downhill the whole time? How much room do they have to really maneuver in those things?
So here's what happened.
Here we go. This is what we came for.
Oh man, I'm ready.
This is
You
what I'm
have a ton of cars that are competing in this. The only three that are important is the two bullies, Bud and Roy,
Who are driving the stolen car?
the rich kid, and Darla in the backseat.
Why is Darla riding with him?
It's for stakes. Alfalfa's gonna get her into his car or something at the end.
And then Alfalfa and
Now,
Sparky.
is the rich kid's car like some crazy, like clearly they bought this with a lot of money car?
It's like it's like
beautiful, bought from
made
the
out
store.
of
Made of chrome.
It's made of silver. It's like got like a red.
It just looks like a
lightning
Monopoly
bolt on
race
it.
car.
It's a Lamborghini.
With a professional race car driver.
Yeah, so Bud and Roy, they definitely put, like you said, they put like spikes on their car.
Oh, so they're the ones that have the crazy.
Yeah, they put a lot of like crazy stuff on theirs. And then
Is Macaulay Clone Kid paying them off to mess Alfalfa up? That seems like something they would do. Or are they really all separate?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave that up to watching the
Are
movie
they
because
not?
I'm not.
They are not in cahoots.
I
I'm
don't-
gonna say
I don't
they
think
are in
they
cahoots.
are.
I'm taking a stand on this one. They're in cahoots.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I don't think they are. I think they're all basically competing for that money.
Yeah.
But then also, the winner gets
a date with Darla.
Prize.
And there are adults that enter.
No,
Make
it's
it
a
real
date
big.
with a famous race car driver.
The lady from Langcheck.
Oh. Danica Patrick is in this film? Or that one? No, is that her name?
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
say male or female.
So
Is it Paul Newman? he's
Mario Andretti?
It's just a famous race car driver. They don't know who it is.
Oh,
exactly.
they call it? Okay.
It's Herbie the Love Bug.
So they go on this race, and what actually happens is Buckwheat and this other kid, they mess with one of the signs as they're walking to the race and flip it around.
Oh.
And so it leads all three of them the wrong way.
So this is like on a real course. This isn't just
a real
down a hill and then
It's
done.
not just a down... No,
Okay.
there's like turns and
So this is
swings.
like wacky
Complicated
races in
scene,
here.
yeah.
I'm really excited to see
I
this.
love wacky races.
So they turn down the wrong way. They go down like a strip mall at
Yeah.
one point, and they're like
Devil's
trying
Drop.
to... Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to
Over
get
the
back.
gorge.
Yeah. And so they compete in this race. There's a lot of... It's like that video game Road Rash. Where,
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah,
got
punch the person
chains
next
in
to
there.
Yeah, so like the one people have spikes. There's another that has like smoke that they shoot out, I think.
Okay.
They're all trying to sabotage each other.
So it's basically like the Speed Racer movie, but in a
Yeah.
soapbox derby.
I like you saying wacky races. It's kind of like that in a way.
That's how I'm picturing it in my head. It's very wacky races.
And so they go through this race, and I don't know how this happens, but Macaulay Clone Kid, he's wearing like this helmet and a silver outfit, and so is Darla. It looks like he kicks her out. It looks like he kicks her out of
He's
the
like
car.
lose the
During
weight
the
or
race?
something.
During the
yeah.
race, he kicks her out. They get
Car's
into an
too heavy.
argument.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I like the cars.
Yeah, I was with you. I was with you on that one.
So, drives off. They continue the race, and it's like neck and neck towards the finish line.
Between all three of them?
Between...
Or no, because the two guys went off their own course.
Yeah, Roy's got it. Roy and the Bug.
Yeah,
gotta be
I
gone.
think they went off course. Yeah, it's between... Well,
Roy and the Buzz.
And Alfalfa's
know.
probably coming in on like what's the fumes, where his car's like probably totally destroyed. He's barely making it down the hill.
Is he the only one driving the Rascal car?
no, it's Sparky and Alfalfa.
Okay. That
They
makes
both
sense.
agreed. They said, like, we need to race this together. Like, we can't do it alone. We're
Yeah.
a team.
They probably bubble gum a tire on. Probably, like, make,
What happens right before the race starts, I totally forgot about this, Alfalfa ties Darla's handkerchief to their kind of like emblem on the
so she knows
front
that
of
he
the
still
car.
cares.
Yeah. So, as they're racing, that thing comes undone and flies into his face. And so he's going like off course. But he grabs it, they get back, they gain control again, but they lost a little bit of their momentum. And so Alfalfa decides that he has to put it back on the emblem.
in order to-
So as they're
Establish
driving, he's like crawling to the front of the car to tie this back on. And why do they win?
Because the handkerchief gets them the photo finish.
It's a photo finish.
Because Alfalfa's like hanging off the front.
Alfalfa sprout.
Oh, yes!
Right.
Yes!
His hair pops up and wins the race.
Where you get Buckwheat's mom, who is Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh, snap.
saying, "Won by a hair."
They did not miss an opportunity with that one.
I'm sure there's so many puns in this film that
Yeah, it's just full of puns.
it will not go unpunished.
So they finish the race. They win. They
Yep.
win the grand prize.
Does Roy and his buddy die? Did they
Yeah,
fall
they-
down a
yeah,
ravine
it's
and
like a-
go up?
it's like a
and
horrible-
They're dead for sure.
It's a scene where the car goes over the cliff and like falls over and,
And this
explodes
explosion
down
below,
when it
and
hits. It's that
so they
classic
celebrate
scene.
the race and then attend the funeral.
No, what actually happens to them, I think, is they come back for the money after the race is done. And they're
try
like,
to steal it?
"We're gonna beat you up."
Okay.
Oh,
And
jerks.
Alfalfa just punches
Oh, snap.
Bud right in the face, and he falls in a puddle. And then the other guy's like, "Don't punch me, allow me to do it myself." And he jumps in the puddle himself.
Oh, that's fun.
No. So then they go to meet this race car driver, who ends up being a woman, and it's Reba McEntire.
Whoa! Reba McEntire.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So good.
And I
Tremors?
think that Sparky is like, really disappointed that he didn't get to meet this famous race car driver, and then she's like, but I'm that race car driver. And he's like, what? You're like the famous race car driver who's won all these awards and everything. And she ends up giving him a kiss.
Oh, so wait, is it Reba as herself?
No.
Oh,
it's Reba McEntire.
I like, oh, it's just Reba. I thought it was... And she's like, no, I'm also
don't say
a race
it's
car
just
driver.
Reba.
Yeah, come on, just Reba?
That's what I'm saying. He's all disappointed. And she's like, I'm not just an amazing actress and singer.
I'm a race car driver.
I'm a race car driver.
No,
is it your Reba impression?
That's my Reba.
That just sounded like you.
There's a little bit of a southern thing on there. I couldn't quite get it.
So
a blank check style kiss happens.
It's a cheek kiss. It's
okay.
Actually,
So it's not a full on the lips blank check kiss.
No, it's not a blank check.
I still have nightmares
kiss.
about that kiss.
Yeah, it's more classy, but there's a lot of lipstick on his face.
Oh, okay. So that's comical. And then is he like, oh gosh?
No,
like
he
girls now,
loves
too.
it. He's like, wait a second, I just got kissed by a girl.
Okay, so now
and he's like, hey, why don't you balance it out and kiss the other cheek? And she's like, all right.
And she's like, okay, kid, you're making it weird.
And then kiss the middle cheek.
oh!
And then kiss downstairs.
Blank check.
Oh.
That's down the
movie's
road.
awful.
Oh, boy. So the He-Man Woman Haters Club probably is no more, I would hope, at the end of the film.
Well,
it's a She-Man Woman Lovers.
She-Man Woman Inclusive.
Woman Inclusive is okay.
Well, I think what happens is the He-Man Woman Haters Club is still around. They rebuild their cabin, but it says on the sign, women are allowed or something like that, or women are included.
That's some real resolution right
there, And now everybody has a girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, and they probably look exactly like one another.
Even Bud?
Yeah.
Even the two.
Well, okay,
there's probably like 8 people in Little Rascals that we just don't have the names of, right?
There's He just says
okay
throughout the entire movie until the very end when he has like a very long.
He has a monologue.
He has a very long like someone looked up words in the thesaurus and just like, okay, this is good.
This is what you need to say.
There's Froggy.
Does he just ribbit all the time?
Ribbit.
Yeah, he's like he makes some really weird phrases like.
Let's hop to it.
No, it's like.
That did not deserve that laugh. Oh no! You give it way too much credit.
So on that, that was just impressive.
That's a way too much credit laugh for that joke.
No, he says like Smalley Ollie at one point, like it's like a cheer. He's like, let's
Australian
give
or something.
No, he's like, let's give this person a Smalley Ollie, and they're like. Smalley Ollie, Smalley Ollie, Smalley Ollie.
Is that like a...
Now, does everyone like act like they know exactly
is
what
that like
means,
a wedgie? Or is that like a swirly?
No, it's like a cheer. It's just like something you say.
Smalley Ollie.
But are they confused by it, or are they like, oh, of course, a Smalley Ollie?
No, they all know what it means.
Oh my jeez.
They immediately know what it means.
It's in the bylaws.
He does have a frog, though, throughout the entire movie.
Wait,
sure.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Froggy.
wait, are we talking about Froggy?
Froggy has a frog.
A different kid has a frog, but is not Froggy.
Toady.
What else? Oh my god, there's so much.
So there's a girl equivalent for each one at the end.
Yeah, there's a sequence
Do
where...
those girls ever show up before that part of the film?
Yes.
They're friends with Darla or something?
They're all friends with Darla. There's a camping sequence. It's actually a really interesting, like, kind of like breaking the fourth wall moment.
Okay.
Where it's right after Alfalfa breaks up with Darla. All the guys and all the girls have a sleepover separately.
I was going to be like, co-ed sleepovers. There are like 8.
And so they're all trying to convince Alfalfa that girls are gross and he needs to come back to them.
Well, he's right, because girls are gross. They are yucky.
Icky.
Icky, yuck.
So, they're both talking among their group, but then you sometimes get this weird overlap where they can kind of hear each other, but they're not in the same... They're not in the same room at all.
Okay.
Huh. It's like girls smell and boys pick their boogers, and then one of the boys
All
is
these are
like,
accurate.
"No, we don't." And it's
It's
like,
like he's picking boogers when he's saying it, I'm sure.
yeah, it's kind of like a weird, like a back and forth conversation, but it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. So So once they win that race, rebuild the clubhouse, and is it just that it ends with them like finally being like, oh, see, now we don't need girls.
The men and women are getting to love each other.
Yeah, there's a big speech.
What happens to the rich kid? Does he come up in the? Does he have a wrap?
Oh, I totally didn't explain it, but in the race. So when you get that moment where one of them's kicked out, like it looks like the rich kid kicks out Darla.
Yeah.
It's actually the reverse, where Darla kicked out the rich kid and she finished the race in his car.
If she had won, do you think she would have shared the money?
I don't know.
Should have just kept it for herself. Been like, should have raced better, bitch.
That would have been a real like women's empowerment moment.
Yeah, and then she meets Reba and it's like another female race driver. Boom.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's a moment like that where like the little girl and Reba have a moment connecting with the fact that they're both females driving cars. No?
Write it down.
Write it down.
I think you might not be wrong.
I feel like that would have to be a little thing.
All right, I like
Keep it up, young girl. You'll be as good as me one day. That's my Reba impression. Yo.
There's also a pickle eating scene.
Ooh, gross.
Is it like a contest of like who can eat the most pickles?
No, and there's no relevance to the movie.
It's just a kid eating a pickle.
So it's Buckwheat and his friend, and the scene just starts where the kid's like, I got a pickle, I got a pickle, I got a pickle today, hey. And then Buckwheat's like, can I buy your pickle? I got a nickel. it's totally pointless.
It's a whole bit.
Oh boy. You think it's a send up of like a different scene from a movie?
I wonder if that's a reference back to the show, maybe,
or the
something.
show.
No, I don't know exactly the relevance of it, but now I remember the point of the scene is Bud and Roy are trying to steal their nice car for the soapbox derby.
Yeah.
And Buckwheat and this little kid are supposed to be on like lookout and protecting it, but they're not paying attention. But there's also a point where like Bud and Roy get the pickles spilled on them, or like the juice, like it gets thrown in the air and falls on them. Something along those lines.
Okay. They seem to be the butt of a lot of physical jokes.
Yeah. And then
they're the Bulk and Skull of the Little Rascals franchise, you know.
You're right. Or Bulk and Skull, or these people of their Mighty Morphin Power Ranger franchise.
Yeah, there you go.
The last thing that I'll bring up is there's also a ballet recital that Alfalfa and Sparky get roped into.
This I actually do remember.
Okay,
Are they
what do you
wearing
remember?
tutus?
I just remember, I feel like they're wearing tutus.
Yes, they are.
And they're essentially trying to, all I can remember is them being extremely upset about this. And they're, trying to make sure, they're hoping no one sees them.
Right. So I think what happens is Bud and Roy are chasing them.
Ooh.
And they get chased into the recital. And they decide to put on a disguise as the ballet dancers.
Does that include wigs?
It includes wigs.
Okay.
And Bud and Roy are like, oh, well, they're not here, and they leave. But then the recital's starting.
Then the curtain opens, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They get rushed on stage, and they have to participate.
I like that.
And they don't know what they're doing at all.
Oh. I would have liked it better if they suddenly were ballerina virtuosos.
And the whole thing gets ruined, basically.
Oh, terrible. Is Darla one of the other ballet dancers?
She is.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
Oh, and that's where he gets her handkerchief. Because he's sweating, and he's like, I am so nervous. And she's like, well, here, I have my hanky. And he, wipes his armpits with it, and he tries to give it back to her, and she's just like, no, you can keep it. I don't want that.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh. Okay, I went into this not looking forward to this movie, and now I'm actually really excited to watch this movie.
I'm thinking it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to hold up at all.
Well, not if you go in with that attitude,
We're going to put ourselves in a Beethoven situation again.
I liked Beethoven.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You didn't.
No,
go to the tape.
That movie is bad.
Play the tape then.
I think this movie holds up more than you think it does, but it's still a kid's movie.
It is a kid's movie. You got to approach it that way.
Yeah, and I think
but 90s movies for kids still had adult things happen in them, or
like Blank Check
games.
when that woman kissed a little kid. Remember when that happened, guys?
Other things like that, where you can still relate to it as an adult, where it's not as focused towards kids as media is today.
Yeah,
Like a kid's movie today is definitely for a kid.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I think you might like this more than you think.
I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Okay, alright.
Good.
So join us in part 2 when we figure out what the heck happened in Little Rascals.
It's going to be a good one.
Nah. We don't have ads on this episode, but if we did, it'd go here. But we don't, so enjoy the show.
I, Stymie, member and good standing of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, do solemnly swear to be a He-Man and hate women and not play with them or talk to them unless I have to, and especially never fall in love. And if I do, may I die slowly and painfully and suffer for hours or until I scream bloody murder.
Okay.
No. And I'll tell you.
He's not okay.
And I'll tell you
I'll
why.
tell you what.
I'll tell you why. Welcome to part 2 of Little Rascals. We saw the film, and it was hard to watch.
What? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You did have to approach it as in, like, this is a little kid's movie.
No.
But it
was so badly made.
It was really
And I don't
bad.
think there was a single line of dialogue that wasn't ADR.
You don't think so?
I don't agree
I don't
with
know
that.
if I agree with
but
that. I didn't notice a whole lot of ADR, but I'm sure there
all
a
the
lot of
kids.
it was.
All the kids was
On a
ADR.
scale of 1 to 10, how shitty was Darla's acting?
I thought she was
one.
one of the more believable rascals.
Are
in
you
this
kidding
film.
me? She was line reading the whole time.
So there's a lot of close-ups of kids' faces.
A lot.
And that's just how I guess this movie just got coverage. They just did a real close shot of a kid's face, and the kid would always be slightly looking off camera, to the director or just somewhere else, and then probably someone just feeding them a line to say.
There's a lot of really weirdly framed shots where characters weren't quite the focal point of the shot.
Well, I will say, I don't know if you guys saw the outtakes at the end of the film.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this looks like it was a nightmare to make.
I would not want to be on the production of this.
I'm sure the director, she quit all the movies the second this film wrapped.
She had done Wayne's World right before this movie.
What? Oh, how did she end up here after Wayne's World?
Right?
And Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh my gosh, that
both
poor woman.
Great films.
Yeah. Just goes to show that it's really hard to make a kids movie.
Well, that's what they always say. The two things you do to keep out of films and keep them simple: no pets, no kids.
And this had both.
And this had both.
Yeah.
I bet Petey was probably the most manageable thing on that set, though.
Why did he have a circle around his eye?
I think that's just
I
in
think
the throwback
homage to the
from
original. Yeah, the original
Okay.
I think was just that way.
But they had to do a lot of casting for the kids, right? And these were the ones they went with. These were the best of the best.
Well, the one was
what they
was
saw.
the kid in Independence Day, which I think one of you mentioned in
Yeah.
the first half.
Yeah, buckwheat.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll say Bug Hall, who played Alfalfa, he was probably the best out of all of them.
I agree.
I looked at the
I'd agree.
IMDb's for all the kid actors, and he's the one that has actually done the most acting since this movie.
Okay.
He's still acting today, and he's pretty hunky. I don't know.
Did you watch the 20 years later photo shoot?
No, I
They're
didn't.
all pretty hunky.
I saw
Was
a
it?
photo of it, yeah.
Darla looks
Okay.
exactly the same in the face.
Yes. She's still very cheeky, kind of a cheek, kind of fat cheeks or something like that. It has a
Okay,
very
okay.
kids-looking face. She also looked like she was 3 years old during the entire movie.
Yeah,
She looked a lot younger than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough.
So let's just go with some corrections, I guess.
You were pretty on most of this, though,
Yeah.
Andy. I feel like you nailed
I
a
mean,
lot of this
I've
film.
seen this movie numerous times. I will say, this is my first time where I was like, this isn't as good as I thought it was.
It is not good.
It's
Yeah.
not good.
Took me a while to get through it. So it's not Sparky, but
Yeah.
it's close.
We were really
Spanky.
close.
It's like a letter off.
Spanky,
from
which
being-
is a name I never would have guessed otherwise.
So I will say, right before I turned the movie on, I had a moment where I was like, Sparky, no, it's Spanky! Ah! I wish I went back.
Yeah, and the two bullies' names are Worm and Butch.
Which
No,
is
no, it's Butch and Woy.
Woym.
W-O-I-M. I watched
saw
this
that
with
in
the
the credits.
subtitles on. And
Woym.
it's like...
Woym.
Actually, what was one of my first notes was, this kid's name is Woym?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think I called them Bud and Roy.
You did.
I was kind of close.
I mean,
Gist.
if you go with the bully from a 90s film, Butch is the safe guess, because that was also the name of the bully in Blank Check.
Yeah.
That was also, and I think there's at least one other bully that's named Butch. That's like one of the top bully names.
So just go with Butch from now on.
A couple of the cameos we missed, the Olsen twins.
Olsen twins, out of nowhere.
Yeah, they just showed up.
And they do like a creepy simultaneous turnaround reveal of Olsen twins where they say the line at the same time. And I was like, that's the scariest way you could have cameoed the Olsen twins.
And they had a few other lines, and they talked about like mooning.
Yeah,
And they like to moon you.
Yeah, boys like to moon girls, I guess. And that's why they don't like
when you're
us.
like 5,
In
that's what you
comparison,
do.
though, in that scene with all the little kids, like they were the best out of all of them.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
only had like 2-3 lines.
Yeah.
Like they could actually deliver some lines.
George Wendt was in this film.
Yes.
Who's George Wendt?
He sold the lumber to the kids.
Oh,
He's from
yes.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Yes.
from Cheers.
Leah Thompson, which we didn't get.
I did.
She
I
was
wrote that down
so
too. I was
pretty.
like, oh, it's the mom from what's Back to the Future or whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name.
Oh yeah, Caroline in the City. I'll never forget.
Yes.
I thought there was a missed joke with the tutus where Alfalfa could have said they're too tight. That joke didn't get said. I should have been on.
Should have been on the writing staff for this one.
Yeah, what were you doing that day?
I don't know.
Where were you?
I was busy.
A little too busy?
Being 10 years
Being
old.
10?
Daryl Hannah
Yeah, Daryl Hannah
Yep.
as the
Mrs.
the
Crabtree.
lady running
Yeah.
the talent show.
and so the Little Rascals are collecting money for a talent show that's happening that isn't supposed to be charged for.
Yeah.
So Daryl Hannah takes the money and then puts it up for the race.
At
Why didn't
their
they just
suggestion.
donate the money or like do something good with it? It's kind of odd that.
Well, they
Yeah.
were donating it towards the race.
Well,
the
that's what
soap
she
opera
was
race.
like, what are we going to do with this money? And he was like, we can
Charity.
make it a prize. And I was like, that. Now that you've said that, that totally strikes me as the right thing to do. And like donating it, not having it as a prize. Having it as a prize definitely does not seem like the first choice they should have gone with. Raven
Yeah,
Simone
I-
has a cameo though.
Yep, at the
At
very
the
end.
very end, which
And I actually thought Stymie was a good actor. The bald kid with the hat.
Oh, he was great.
I like-
was
I like
great.
him a lot.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
He
His
was
deliveries
amazing.
were excellent. Especially when he has the big long speech where he talks about the Women Haters Club pledge, and he says something really fast, and like
Yeah.
none of the kids can repeat it after he says it.
Yes.
Yep.
Little kids' teeth are creepy. I'm just gonna say that randomly out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
Especially
a lot
Bug
of
Hall.
weird little kid teeth.
Butch's teeth were like way sticking out here.
Yeah,
There
they
was
were
like
too
a
small
couple
or too
scenes
big.
where they got him like in a side profile, notably after the mud scene, and he's just like, ah, and his teeth are just way out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to pull those back into the mouth.
Alfalfa's teeth were giant.
Yep.
Like, they were too big for his whole
I'm
face.
guessing like they were freshly he just lost the baby ones and the adult ones came in because
Yeah.
Yeah,
same
those
thing.
were
I mean,
brand new.
when those things come in, they're huge.
And then Waldo, the rich kid, his teeth were like chopped in half. Like he had half teeth.
I bet kids' teeth were falling out like constantly during the filming of
production,
this.
yeah, probably.
They're putting in like
They're
fake
just a
teeth.
little, maybe some for
It
some
could be,
shots
I
they
wouldn't-
did.
Yeah, you never know.
You said Whoopi Goldberg, yeah, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
In the original, you called
I
that
said
one.
Whoopi
got
Goldberg,
Whoopi,
Mel
Trump.
Brooks,
Donald Trump,
Trump.
and Reba.
Reba. Yeah, those are the four that I got.
Reba was great, by the way.
I will say she looked a little weird when I saw her. I was like, ooh,
Her hair was pretty big in the scene.
It was like
Well, that's
crazy.
just how her hair was at the time.
Right.
I thought she was pretty great.
She's one of the most underrated actors out
She's
there.
really good. Yeah, I mean,
particularly like for a musician turned actor or vice.
Yeah, and based on
otherwise.
those bloopers at the end, it seems like she just came in and like got those lines
And
and was
knocked it
just like
out.
doing them
yeah,
like same day.
that's my guess.
That wacky dream
Yeah,
sequence.
he's like,
I remember.
it's like
Alfalfa gets
Yeah, what the
murdered
heck was
or
up
murders
with
people.
that?
in the He-Man Woman Haters Club
Right.
to the point where like he's pushed off of a cliff.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like they're like it's like they portray it like the kids are about to go up to like fight the Crusades or something.
Yeah, I did really. I
What was up
I
with that?
laughed when they cut to Porky and Buckwheat and they were just playing the bagpipes.
Yeah.
It just was like a quick like one-off joke. I thought that was kind of funny.
that was actually really funny.
Most of the jokes that I laughed at were lines that Buckwheat and Porky said.
Yeah.
They were my favorite like line
They
in the
were a
whole
good
film.
duo,
Following
for
them
sure.
all the time was actually really funny, and they had the funny like little pickle bit.
Yeah.
I also like the idea that like just throwing pickles on someone is their trap.
Yeah. Like that's such a terrible thing to have happen to a little kid.
Pickles.
It's like,
There were some goofy scenes where it would just cut to Porky and Buckwheat, and Buckwheat would sing that like, "I got a pickle, I got a pickle," and then he'd just finish the song, and the scene would end, and nothing happened in the scene.
Yep.
There were so many scenes that were like that.
he says in the photo shoot that those were all improv. And they were just like letting the cameras roll. They're like, shoot the kid.
I could tell.
The fishing sequence was pretty fun, though.
It was.
Yeah, that was pretty classic.
I like that.
I didn't remember that Froggy kid at all, and his mullet was knocking me out of my chair.
There were a lot of
and
moments
his glasses and his teeth.
And his voice.
His
Everything about
everything
this
about
kid was just driving me insane.
His voice is done by E.G. Daly, or Elizabeth Daly, as she goes now. And she was Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh,
and she does like a ton of voice acting.
Yeah.
Okay, and when I was going through the IMDb's for a lot of these kids, the ones that did go on to continue acting, aside from Alfalfa, almost all of them were exclusively voice work. A ton of them did voice work.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin does voice work.
Whose name was Waldo? We didn't get that.
Waldo, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Not Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo, but just Waldo.
But that's a good name.
That's the guy from Family Matters. That's Waldo from Family Matters.
And it's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to go back and just talk about that talent show.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it all out there. Let's jump around.
I think I originally said that they had that man-eating chicken.
And you said they made the money from
that.
that.
And I thought they were making the money from that,
Yes.
but I totally forgot that Buckwheat and Porky set up a sign just randomly that says $3 in front of this tent. It wasn't on purpose; it just happened that way.
Yeah, and that's how they got the money.
And that's how they raised all that.
Yeah,
money,
they made
$500.
negative dollars off their chicken sideshow bit because they had to buy that chicken.
There was definitely things that cost money that they didn't have, but they still didn't have enough money to buy a clubhouse.
Yeah.
They didn't have money to put on anything they did, and they didn't have money to build the go-kart at the end. But they still ended up building that thing.
For that, they broke into homes and stole essential things and did a lot of property damage to build that race car.
I don't know what they did with the laundry machine, but all that soap came out of nowhere, and I was like, what were they doing in there? Like, how did that end up happening?
They dismantled it, and apparently...
they dismantled it and started to load at the same time?
Yeah, they shoot soap out. That's how they work. It just... They spray soap as soon as you try to dismantle anything. That's anti-theft measure.
Okay. I'll buy that. I also... So I think I said that they grabbed the hose from the fire...
the fire department ran it
but
back.
They actually grabbed it from a hotel.
Very close. It was like an apartment or something, right near the fire department. Because one of the gags is they try to call 911. They're across the street from it, and they can't figure out what the number for 911 is.
Yeah,
that was like a triple gag in one thing because they had to wait for the payphone. They were like, "What's the number for 911?" And then as they leave, it pans to the fire department. I was like, "They're really loading this single scene up. They're gag after gag, keep them coming."
So I kind of couldn't understand where they were exactly. Like, they were on a hill where their club
their
was,
clubhouse
but then
is
they were also right next to a hotel or an apartment.
Logistically, that scene
really,
made no
really
sense because they unreel that hose like right there, and you can see when it hits like the end, and then it's like an infinity hose that they drag all the way to their clubhouse, which is just on some vacant lot.
Yeah.
I thought the gag where they're passing the bucket was pretty fun, where like the water keeps spilling out of it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing left in. I like that the dog pissed on the fire. I thought
Did
that
you
was
see
pretty fun,
that
too.
piss though? It like sprayed everywhere. I was like, was that real or fake?
They got that dog to do a lot of fun stunts in this film. We didn't remember the monkey.
No, I didn't remember that monkey at
I don't even know
all.
if that was in the
Was that Aha's
TV
monkey?
show.
Or was that a different... It was just a monkey.
I think it was just a monkey, like the clubhouse monkey.
You know,
It was barely
monkey,
even-
right?
Did they even call it by a name?
there. No, I don't think so. They
But
knew the sign.
It had a lady monkey at the end, and it
That's true.
had
Yeah,
some fun
I
bits.
mean, I assume he's a member of the club.
I think that might be like the '90s monkey too. That was in like Monkey Trouble, and just name a monkey movie and Outbreak.
Dustin checks in.
The Outbreak monkey.
MVP?
Well, I mean a capuchin monkey.
The
Not
Outbreak
just
monkey.
the Mighty Joe Young monkey.
Yeah. Congo?
Yeah, Congo.
Specific capuchin monkey.
I don't know monkeys.
No, but we were pretty on for it. Like, we nailed how the clubhouse burns down. We pretty much got all the date pranks. I don't think we mentioned the soda, but the kitty litter was on.
Yeah. I knew the kitty litter part. I didn't remember that they poured their grape soda through a boot.
Yep, nailed the bank loan.
Bank loan scene, yep.
But we didn't. The actual Amish lawyers or whatever
Coming in there, look, yeah.
We missed that.
I did like the line where they say, "Good luck."
That was actually really
We tried.
funny.
Good. See if you can do better.
There were a couple like really funny lines. the way they were delivered were kind of funny. They weren't just like they weren't good lines though overall. Like
all the kids shouted their lines. It felt like I felt like I was being yelled at the whole movie.
like I did like the one line where what's the bald guy who kind of runs the club? Stymie. He tells Spanky to run with the hose, like run faster, faster, and then they speed up the camera shot, and he says, "That is fast." It kind of made me laugh.
I thought Spanky was one of the worst in terms of just standing there shouting every line. Just plant yourself and yell your line, and that was his acting method.
Yeah,
I thought he was the worst.
He was not great.
As a lady, I thought he did a good job when he got in that tutu scene.
Yeah, he sold that. Yeah, totally. We said it was a soapbox race, but it's a go-kart race.
Yeah, those go-karts just like have a key and they have engines.
Yeah, they have real engines, and that's why it's on a full. That's why I was confused when it was like a whole race, and I was like, "How did they soapbox?" Which is just like a downhill race. But like, how did they do a whole race out of that?
Yeah.
That race was also very poorly run. There were no safety standards. Kids could wear any helmets they wanted, no seatbelts.
And they went off course and should be disqualified.
And that race official needs to be fired because he watched them go and he was like, "Oh crap, fix the sign." Didn't tell anybody else
just
that
stood there.
3 go-karts went the wrong way through town and like are going to hurt somebody. He just
stood there in the background as they were driving.
Yeah, he was just like, "All right, fix the problem. No, nothing else I need to do."
Why were they allowed to use like silly string and like smoke and spikes?
Like I said, there's clearly no safety requirements in this race, so I'm sure there's no rules about equipment either.
And there's nobody watching them after they got off the starting line. It was just like houses, and like they could just go do whatever they wanted. Like, why are there some people just at the starting line to not see the race actually happen? They're just seeing the beginning and the end of it.
I mean, and they make the race seem like the biggest event, but yeah, you're right. They're all sitting at the starting line. They're going to see the kids go, and then like come back like 20 minutes later and be like, "Oh, someone finished. That was very boring compared to the rest of this carnival."
Yeah,
like I don't know. The whole race was pretty goofy, which in a good way, I suppose. But I did enjoy it as the climax of the film. We did say I think that it was the Bullies go-kart that had the spikes.
It was Waldo's.
And it was Waldo's. Yeah, the rich kids was the one that had like the stuff that come out, but nailed that it was that Darla kicks him out.
Yeah, because I remember that specifically because she ends up
you nailed the line, one by a hair.
Because I mean that. I feel like the movie is written around that joke. Like they were like, okay, we'll have a soapbox derby, and it only makes sense for them to win by Alfalfa's hair.
Yeah. But yeah, that definitely happened. I was impressed. Okay, going back to how big this like go-kart race was, they were set up for a photo finish. If I was planning some little kid's go-kart race, I'd be like, no way do we need a camera for this race. There is no way that's going to be close.
Well, was it Whoopi Goldberg that took the photo finish?
I don't know. In that case, I
thought she did, but I think
she said the one by a hairline.
She said the one by the hairline, yeah.
Okay, maybe I just associated the two together.
I don't know. Whoopi was also great in the movie.
Yeah, well, she had like 2 lines.
Yeah.
Did you guys, in the bloopers at the end, did you see the Donald Trump part where he just spits out?
He spits onto a person.
He spits on a person! And he says, that was pretty bad popcorn.
Yeah.
And the guy just like had popcorn spit out on his back.
His eyebrows were crazy in this movie.
His hair was crazy.
Everything was just nuts.
I mean, it's Donald Trump. I mean, he's still the same way now.
Hey, you're talking about the future president of the United States, sir.
I hope so.
I agree.
But yeah, when he spat on that person, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy. Who does he think he is?
I know.
He's Donald fucking Trump, goddammit.
He's someone who can spit popcorn on people.
Oh, so that was pretty spot on with most of that stuff. It took forever for that go-kart to get stolen. I thought that was going to happen earlier in the film.
Yeah.
And it happens like right before the race. Almost, because it's at the talent show.
Right.
There were some sequences where I feel like they tried to write the storyline, and then other sequences where I was just like, this is nothing, this is boring. Like, what are we watching
They're just
here?
trying to do things to like push the story along, but they like kind of didn't make sense, or they just weren't good.
I also felt like those 2 bullies were only bullying them because they were sad that they're not members of that club. I felt like it's on the kids. I'm like, that's your fault. You turned them into bullies when you ostracize them from your community.
Well, they have to. The guy's name is Woim.
Woim is a terrible name.
What is that? I thought it was Roy all along because I was like, that's not a real word.
I like I said, I did a double take because I had the subtitles on. So the very first line when he's like, "Woim, you got it right," I was like, "Is that a typo?" Like,
Yeah.
WOIM is not a name.
So do you guys think that, like, these bullies and a lot of the characters in this movie are from the Our Gang series originally? I know, like, Alfalfa obviously is, Darla
I would
is.
expect it
I
to
think
be.
most of
I'm
them
also
could
very
have been.
curious to know, like, how many of the gags in the film are, like, throwbacks to the show. I feel like they crammed so many in that, like, a lot of them have to be.
Sure.
Right. The fire hose, I think, was maybe.
I mean,
That would make sense.
Maybe the fishing
Yeah.
one too. I mean, that would make sense
being
too.
a thing.
I don't think I've seen an episode of it. I've definitely seen
never
the
seen an
Saturday Night
episode
Live
of it.
version of it where
Oh, Buckwheat
Eddie
sings a
Murphy
classic?
plays Buckwheat. Yeah, and I forget who played Alfalfa, but they were good too.
Yeah. So, okay. I don't think I would recommend this movie.
Oh no, you should never.
I would
watch
no,
this.
like I said, for all the other
was
films, I'm
awful.
like, this could hold up, or I would watch this with my kids. This is a movie that if they wanted to watch it, I would turn it on for them and be like, all right, have fun. I'll be somewhere else. Because
Yeah.
I would not watch that film even with kids.
Couple uses of CG in this film. The Rookie of the Year callback where he catches the ball. There's like a CG ball that he catches in his hat.
Oh.
It's like, oh, like just Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it did seem really light, because he's just barely hanging on to that hat, and that ball's like...
The bubbles that shoot out of Alfalfa.
bubbles
Oh,
that-
they
yeah,
were
that's
terrible
right.
looking.
And at the very last scene, a digital dog eye roll.
Oh,
Did you see
yes,
that?
I did
I
see
did.
that.
Horrendous.
It was a throwback to Beethoven, and I almost freaked
I
out.
don't know, I think the Beethoven was scarier, because I feel like the Beethoven was almost animatronic, like full
Yeah.
animatronic.
This was a photo of a
just
dog that had its
digital,
eyes
like,
cut out.
pupils rolled over. Yeah, and it was
Oh.
like...
But I'm telling
it
you,
was
I had
creepy.
like post-traumatic stress back to Beethoven. I was like, let's not go there. Let's not do it.
Let's not do it.
Yeah, that was like a nice way to end a film I didn't want to be watching. Was with an awful thing.
Why, like, all the characters were kind of dressed like they were from the 30s.
Which, I mean, the original show I think was like the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, it was-
So I mean,
I think
it kind
the
of
original
made
show was
sense.
even the
Like, I think
30s
again
itself.
that was partly a throwback.
Yeah, it's
to
just
the
the
original
gimmick. The same
gang.
thing with like Beverly Hillbillies. It's like, what if we didn't change anything about them, but just stuck them in modern times? I feel like that
Okay.
was the same strategy. for
Yeah,
Little Rascals.
that's what it seemed like.
Got it.
They did that with Brady Bunch too, where they just
Did they do that with Wayne's World as well, since she directed that one?
well, Wayne's World wasn't a sitcom.
Oh!
Before-
Oh. Okay, I didn't know that.
It's a little known fact that Wayne's
It's
World
very little,
did not start as a 60s sitcom.
but it would be good as one, though.
Yeah.
They need to get on that. Oh man, what else in this movie?
I don't know. I think I'm dead.
Yeah, I think we could wrap
It was
up.
it was just a rough one.
Too many close.
It was kind of horrendous. I will say again, Darla's acting is the worst. I laughed so hard at some line deliveries. Oh my god, it was terrible.
Yeah, some bits of this movie just like were so ham-fisted in there. Like the plan to get Alfalfa off stage at the talent show when he's blowing bubbles, like Spanky like runs back and starts to lower that moon. And I was like, that's not anywhere close to
Yeah, and
Alfalfa.
then
I don't know what. So then
he
Alfalfa
walked
just
back.
walks to the moon and then gets hooked by it. And I was like, clearly just making that one work. I don't know where that was going. Like
Everything
and that's,
seems so
and that's just like that's just endemic of everything in this film was.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't easy. Like I'm sure there wasn't a whole lot I feel like they could have done just because working with kids that young, I'm sure it's very difficult to find 20 that can act. Like
Well, not even
well.
act, just like say their lines.
But some of them were so
last
bad.
thing I'll say is, if anyone gets a chance to watch this movie or watch it again, look at some of the characters that are just in the background who are part of this club, who have no lines whatsoever. They look lost throughout all of these scenes. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to react to anything. They're like expressionless, just like background characters.
And there was a lot. There were so many kids in this freaking club. Like, that's probably why those bullies were upset. There was no one else for them to hang out with because every other male kid in this town was part of this freaking club.
Yeah.
You know, what are they going to do? Turn to crime. That's what.
And they did.
And they did.
Join us next week as we talk about Jeepers Creepers. Please rate, like, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Find us on Twitter at What We Remember, Instagram at What We Remember, and WhatWeRemember.com. If you're from the Metro Detroit area and you would like to book us for a live podcast and a movie event, contact us at whatwerememberemail@gmail.com and look at our website, whatweremember.com, for more details.